Hi all, Paulette with Back to Basics Mom. So today I have a really fun card for you, and it is featuring some of our favorite characters from a great book and movie series that you may be familiar with. Now these stamps come from the Sweet Stamp Shop, so therefore I am calling this my Sweet Potter card. And I hope you enjoy. You're going to see some Copic coloring, and you're going to see some making a background with some distress inks. And I'm not going to talk through the whole thing because it is a little bit long, so I'm going to put some music on. But the three other characters I colored the other night while I was sitting and hanging out with my family, and I just thought I'd color this last little girl wizard for you. And I colored her pretty simply. The grays I'm using are the neutral grays. I'm hoping you can see the cap numbers, but depending on the size of the screen you're watching on, you might not be able to. But I just stuck with the neutral grays and just 2 or 3 of the lighter kind of mid-range shades. I don't think I went above a 6 or a 7 for those. Yeah, so when we get to the background section, basically just Nina Solar White, and I'm actually coloring these characters on the Nina Solar White 80 pound as well. Some distress ink, you're going to see some blending and layering. We'll get to that when we get to that part. So sit back, grab a cup of coffee. I'm going to put some music on and enjoy this card. It is sped up, by the way. This part is about 2.5 times sped up, and the rest of them are about 2 times sped up, so you don't have to sit and watch for quite as long. And I was quite putsy when I was making this card because I just kind of wasn't sure what I was going to do. I had an idea in my head, but I wasn't sure how it was going to all play out. So again, sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee or whatever beverage you choose, and I'll be back in a bit. Thanks. just going to finish up this little girl wizard, and then we are going to be ready to start the background for our card. So I did manage to get a little bit of highlighting done on her scarf. I had gotten a couple new markers recently, so that was really nice. My red and kind of maroon colors had been quite limited, but there we go. All of them are colored now. So we are going to jump into our background. Again, it's just some Neenah Solar White cardstock, the 80 pound, just the basic stuff, like if you were doing Copic coloring, and I'm using my little mini distress cubes. And my goal here is to get a night sky, sort of like the galaxy background technique, which I normally do on watercolor paper, but I was trying something new here. So this is kind of a long process this was a complete experiment. So I did speed this up a little bit, but it still does take a while. So again, I am just going to put some music on so you can sit back and watch and see how it goes. Once I get the background the way I like it, I will add some green grass on the bottom that I just cut some kind of sparkly green paper out of some Lawn Fawn edge dies that I have, and you'll see me futz with those a little bit later too, because I did not want the stitch lines to show on this card, so I was trying to cut it so I wouldn't get the stitch lines. But yeah, so like I said, this is a complete experiment. I go back and forth, back and forth. I don't know if I would do this technique again because it was a lot of ink and it was a lot of water, and my cardstock was so wet. It did take forever to dry to be able to stamp on it and emboss on it and stuff. So I used my heat tool, and then I kind of get tired because I didn't want to warp the card too much. I wanted it to finish drying naturally, so I just set it in front of the fan to dry. So again, I'm going to put some music on while this card finishes up, and here we go. Thanks. All right, so we are going to finish up our card. We're just going to finish up our birthday sentiment and do some final touches. And if you have any questions about anything on how to do this card, please leave me comments below and I will be happy to answer them. A lot of the techniques are pretty basic, but I know they went by pretty fast as I sped this up and because I didn't walk you all the way through it. So yeah, I would be happy to answer any questions. This is a really fun card to make, and I appreciate all your patience with me and learning all the technical details of filming. And I'm noticing that I was really having some camera issues with the autofocus, so it gets a little exaggerated once the video is sped up. So I'm still working on all that, trying to figure that out. I am not a super, while I consider myself computer illiterate for the most part, a lot of these little techie details are not something I'm real familiar with. So I am learning as I go. So I appreciate your patience. So our card is about done. I'm going to add a few final touches after we get it. I don't usually glue my cards, but lately I have been, especially when you use a lot of water and stuff. The cardstock does tend to get a little bit warped, and I have found that the wet glue tends to hold my bases down a little bit better rather than my tape runner. So because this particular wizard tends to have a little bit of extra decoration in his wardrobe, I just thought I'd sparkle him up a little bit just for a little bit of extra texture, and you know, who doesn't need a little sparkle in their life? If I forget later, I want to thank you for stopping by and spending some time with me. I hope you find something crafty to do. And yeah, this has been a fun time making this card. I have this intended for a special person for a birthday card, and I think they will really enjoy it. So I apologize getting out of frame occasionally. I try to do setup for filming today, and I don't know if I like it. It seems to be it's a little bit out of my comfort zone. I kind of get used to my way that I did it all the time and whatnot. So I want to thank you so much again for stopping by. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and hit subscribe below to keep seeing more videos. Bye bye. Talk to you later.